Hey everybody, Playtendoguy here, and I'm back with another video. It's the 1st of May, or it's the 2nd of May, whenever I uploaded this video, so you know what that means. It's time for a monthly pickups haul, where I go through all the titles I picked up in the month of April, and overall there's quite a lot to get through. So without further ado, let's get into it. So for the month of April, there's been quite a few pickups. There's been one game and there's been several sales going on. We've had Indicator, HMV, Arrow, and even Poundland's had a sale on of sorts. Plus we've also got like major releases that released last month. So there's quite a lot to get through. So without further ado, I'll start off with the biggest release of last month, and that was Spider-Man No Way Home. Absolutely brilliant film, still stands up, a lot of fun, a huge labour of love from beginning to end, fan service done right, what more can I say, it's just so good, so very happy to have that on Blu-ray. Next up, it's a film starring Jessie Buckley, one of the best British films in years, and that is Beast. It came out about 2017, very went under the radar, but it's hugely underrated, highly recommended. Says $7.99, but it's actually only $4.99 in HMV, so it's well worth checking your local store to see if they've got a copy. Next up, Amazon has some films for like $5.59. They still actually have some for $5.59, but I was looking at this one. It's Al Pacino in Dog Day Afternoon. Basically, it's like a true story about some really bad bank robbers, and their day goes from bad to worse. Looks like a really cool watch, so yeah, that's Dog Day Afternoon. This film was in like a HMV offer. When you buy something, you get it for $4.99. So that was Sidney Poitier in the Heat of the Night. Fantastic crime thriller set in the, I think it's in the Deep South. Yep, it is in the Deep South. Very enjoyable. Sidney Poitier's performance was fantastic. The theme song by Ray Charles was also great. Such a tense film and really holds up very well. Sidney Poitier just dominates the screen every time he's on. His screen presence is just so brilliant. Next up is one of my favourite horror films of all time, and it went down in price to $7.99, and that's Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee in the original Dracula from Hammer Horror. This is a 3-disc set. You get the Blu-ray and you get 2 DVDs. One DVD has like the 2 cuts on, so does the Blu-ray, and also you do get loads of bonus features. So for like $7.99 for this like 3-disc set, I think that's a really good price for a fantastic film. Indicator had a sale. I picked up 3 titles and then I picked up a box set. The 3 titles was Sidney Poitier in To Sir With Love. Really fantastic coming of age drama set in a school of unruly kids. Sidney Poitier gets sent in and he basically teaches them the lessons of life, and it's really good. Also look out for Lula in this as well. She also done the theme song. We have Sean Connery in the Anderson tapes, which is basically looks like it's going to be like a sort of bank job heist sort of film. Haven't seen it yet, but it's Sean Connery, so I pretty much certain it's going to be a great time. And also I picked up Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer in a film called Wolf. This sees Jack Nicholson being a werewolf. What more can you say? For $7.99, very happy with that. So yeah, that's Wolf. Right, so next up is the other Indicator haul I had. I did do a video of it, and first up we have Irreversible by Gaspar Noé. I've heard this is a very uncomfortable watch. The more I'm hearing about it, the more I'm less intrigued to watch it, but I've got it. It was not too bad for the price, so if I give it a go and I don't like it, I can always sell it on. But it is a really nice set. You do get a booklet, poster, 2-disc set, and a slew of special features. Next up, we have Peter Cushing in another collector's edition. So we have Peter Cushing in Corruption. Basically, it follows Peter Cushing as like a top doctor or surgeon, and his wife gets like a scar on her face, and because she's like a beautiful model, she wants to go back to how she used to be. So Peter Cushing plays a really dark role in this. He goes after like various women, killing them for a certain thing in their body to like renovate her skin. It's a very intriguing watch. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard from a lot of people that it's really good. This includes like 2 or 3 cuts of the film. You get the original cut, the extended cut, and you also get like a continental, really violent cut. So that's interesting. Again, with this one, you get some art cards. I think you get a poster, you do get a booklet, and you do get the film, and also a slew of special features. And then I picked up another 3 more limited editions, but these ones have booklets in them. We have Peter Cushing and Calvin Lockhart in The Beast Must Die. I watched this one a few weeks ago and I had a lot of fun with it. It's basically a whodunit, but with a werewolf. Calvin Lockhart is a posh dude who owns this big house and he invites people over to stay for the weekend. He knows one of them's a werewolf, but which one is? Wow, it's up to you. Because it's a sort of like a board game, not a board game, but an interactive game. When you start off the film, it even says that we're going to show you these clues and you're going to think about it. Who do you think the werewolf is? And then about 20 minutes before the film ends, the film just stops in its tracks and then says to you, wow, what do you think? We've given you the evidence. Who do you think is the werewolf? It's an interesting gimmick and it does work really well. Whether it will last for a second viewing, I don't know, but for the first time viewing, I had a lot of fun with The Beast Must Die. Great cast, also a very young Michael Gambon in it. You do get a really nice booklet in it, and obviously artwork on the disc. But yeah, that's The Beast Must Die. A couple of limited editions, we've got Willem Dafoe and Susan Sarandon in Light Sleeper. Basically, Willem Dafoe's like a drug dealer or something, and he wants to try get away from it all, but then he's slowly drawn back in as people are getting murdered left, right and centre, and he's trying to solve it. Looks like an interesting watch. Willem Dafoe's always great in everything he does, so I'm very excited to give this one a watch. So yeah. And then this one's a handmade film. Is it a handmade film? Yes, handmade film from the 80s. They made some fantastic films, and I'd never even heard of this one. The main reason why I bought it is because it's got Bob Hoskins in, and I think he's a hugely underrated actor. Also stars Maggie Smith, and it's called The Lonely Passion of Judith Hearn. Basically, Bob Hoskins is an American dude who comes over to the UK and he gets in with Judith Hearn. He thinks she's got loads of money. She thinks he's got loads of money or something like that. And they strike up a relationship of sorts. But I think as the film goes on, it becomes less about the money and more about the personalities, I think. Haven't seen it yet, haven't even heard of it, but very intrigued of watching it. And again, it's a limited edition. You do get a nice thick booklet in it as well as loads of special features. So that is all my indicator stuff. The only video game of the month is, well, actually a really big one, and a review should be hitting the channel, either already has or will be really soon, and that's Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Won't say too much about this game in case the review hasn't gone up yet, but Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. All 9 films represented in Lego form, so that's great. Next up, Poundland seems to be reducing their titles, getting rid of them, only charging £1 for them, which is pretty good. They haven't had a new delivery in absolute months, so it's a good way to get rid of this excess stock. So the half price in the Blu-rays to £1 and DVDs for 50p. So I went into one in Boston and they had this one here with Oscar Isaac, and it's called Mojave. I think it's called Mojave. Pretty terrible at this pronunciation of this film, but it looks like to be an interesting sort of thriller. It's got Oscar Isaacs in, Moon Knight, Poe, also he was in Dune. He's a great actor, so it's also got Walter Goggins in it as well, so that's pretty good. And you've got Mark Wahlberg as well, so yeah. Mojave. This one's from the author of American Psycho. You got Billy Bob Thornton, Kim Basinger, and Winona Ryder, and Mickey Rourke. Never really heard of it before, but I'm going to gather it's a sort of like a Basic Instincts type of film, and that is called The Informers. Don't know really much about it. I'm going to gather it's going to be a sort of sexy thriller, shall we say. So yeah, looks interesting enough. Again, for a quid, I thought pick it up. I don't think I've actually seen this one about. I think I've seen it in Norwich one, but I've never seen it one local to me, so I thought I'd give it a go. Next up is a film that came out in like 2010, 2011. I remember it coming out. I think I have seen it before. It's directed by Noel Clarke. Also stars Bradley James from Merlin. You also got Lily. Is it Bradley James? Yeah, it is Bradley James and Lily James. Not related. Lily James before she hit the big time with Downton Abbey and Baby Driver and even Pam and Tommy. So this is Fast Girls. It's basically all about like a group of women who do athletics trying to get into the 2012 Olympics or something like that. But I remember watching it. I'm pretty certain I've seen it, and it's a good fun time. Brand new with a slip for a quid. It's not a film that I've seen in Poundland that often, so I thought, why not? So that is Fast Girls. I've always wanted to watch these films, but I've never really seen them. They've been popping up in Poundland all the time, but I never thought I'd give them a go. But since they were a quid each, I thought I'd pick them up. I know I could get them from CEX, but I thought I'll just get them from Poundland instead. So we've got the first Hangover here. This is the extended cut. I've never ever seen the Hangover. Always want to watch it, see what it's like. Looks like to be a lot of fun, over the top, silly stuff. Directed by Todd Phillips, the guy who eventually went on to direct The Joker, which is kind of surreal when you think about it. But yeah, I can remember this was like one of the first early Blu-ray releases that actually were quite different from the DVD, because you actually had an extended cut. You do get quite a few special features in here, and I don't know whether you get both versions of the film, but for a quid, I'm pretty happy. Next up, I did pick up Hangover Part 2. This one also comes with the DVD, but I'm pretty certain because it feels like there's more than one discs in it. I've heard the Hangover films get much worse as the series progress, so I'm not expecting much, but again, for a quid, I'll give it a go. Moving on, we have some One Below stuff. So I picked this one up a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, and I sold it for a good price, so I thought I'd buy it back in the collection. And that's The Girl on the Train. Again, a quid with a slip, brand new and sealed. Looks to be an interesting thriller. It's got Emily Blunt in it, so you know you're going to be in for a good time. So yeah, that's The Girl on the Train. We have a remake of a classic, and that's Ben-Hur. Probably not going to be a classic. I've heard some really bad things about this film, and I kind of already regret buying it. But hey, it was a quid, so I thought I'd give it a go. I've never actually seen it about in the wild with a slip. You do have Morgan Freeman, so that's something there to reassure me that it could be a good time. I honestly don't know how long it is, but you do get a download code on here, but I'm going to gather the download codes well and truly past its sell-by date. But there you go, that's Ben-Hur. You do get some special features in this one. You do get like an iTunes thing, so that's there if you want it. I don't know whether iTunes still work, but if anybody's got iTunes and wants the code for this, just message me on Instagram or Messenger and I'll give it to you. So yeah, that's Ben-Hur. Next up is one of my favourite films of the last decade and a true return to form to Michael Keaton, and that's Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. Such a brilliant film. I really do like it. It's about the struggling actor trying to set up this like a new show on, is it on Broadway or something? It's just really funny. Great performances all around. Just love the surreal nature of it. Already got this, but I just wanted it for the slip. Yeah. I've never actually seen Birdman with this slip, so I thought, you know what, pick it up for the slip. Yeah. I paid £1 for a bit of cardboard. Up also is a film that I've been wanting to watch for a little while. I've been wanting to buy it for ages, but I've always held off on it, and that's Shaun the Sheep the movie. Big fan of the TV show. Always loved the TV show. Just a lot of fun. Probably enjoy it to some extent a little bit more than Wallace and Gromit. So I've always wanted to watch the film. I've heard the film's really good. I do have, is it Farmageddon somewhere on DVD, but I haven't seen it yet. I'm really looking forward to watching this one. I'll probably watch this one over the bank holiday if I've already have. So yeah, that is Shaun the Sheep the movie. And the final two One Below pickups are DVDs. Haven't really got much to say about these ones. I mainly picked them up because of the cast members. We've got Al Pacino in Simone, is it? Or Simone? Anyway, basically it's like he's like a director or somebody, and he wants the perfect actress, so he ends up making a perfect actress. It sounds very surreal, it sounds very dated, and I've heard from a few people that it might actually be quite dated. But I thought for a quid with Al Pacino, see what it's like. So yeah, that is Simone. And next up, we've got Robert De Niro, Sean Penn, Bruce Willis in a film called what just happened? And that's probably going to be my reaction after watching this film, to be fair. I have no idea what the heck is going to go on here. It's probably going to be a load of rubbish, but for the cast alone, I thought, give it a go. So yeah, this box set of films that I used to love watching as a kid. The first three are brilliant, the other two less so much, but I thought I'd pick them up. And it was a really great price. I already got them on DVD, but I wanted to upgrade them to Blu-ray for about 12 quid. I thought it was not too bad. So that is Pirates of the Caribbean, the 5-film collection. You get all 5 films here. You get Curse of the Black Pearl, Dead Man's Chest, At World's End, On Stranger's Tides, and Salazar's Revenge. Or as I like to call it, the American title, Dead Men Tell No Tales, which I think just is a much more better title. So anyway, this is a 5-disc set. You don't actually get many bonus features with like the first 3 films. You do get quite a few for On Stranger's Tides, and you do get quite a few for Salazar's Revenge. So yeah, bizarrely enough, these films aren't even on 4K. Well, the first one is, but apparently the 4K transfer is absolutely dreadful. So probably something will happen in the future, and we might get a 4K set. But honestly, I watched all these through again a couple of weeks ago and had an absolute blast with most of them. I wasn't that keen on Stranger's Tides, but the rest of them were a really good time. I'm thinking about doing a ranking video of all 5 films, so keep an eye on that in the channel in the coming few weeks. So he's got a sale on now. They seem to be clearing out loads of stuff. They've got their bargain bins back, all bargain walls, depending on where you live. And I thought, you know what, let's partake in it and get a few stuff. I went to Boston on the Sunday, and as I went there on the Sunday, they had a huge list of titles added to the website. So there I was in store with a list, looking for them in the store, picking them up, adding them to my basket. And I've got quite a few hauls, quite a big haul here to show you. So first up, we've got Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop on the VHS range. I've always wanted to collect these VHS ranges. I always thought they were really quite quirky, nice little oddities to have in the collection. I'm looking out for the Breakfast Club one because that's supposed to be like $3.99, but I haven't seen that one anywhere. But for 5 quid or $5.99, very happy to have Beverly Hills Cop. I'm pretty certain I have seen this one years ago, but it's been a very long while. Always remember the song that he is on. You do get the Blu-ray, the DVD, I think you get a poster, art card, and probably a sticker. I'm not really certain, but they're pretty cool little sets. You do get like bonus features as well. But yeah, Beverly Hills Cop. Next up is a film by Takeshi Miike. I don't really know nothing much about it. I just know that this was a fairly recent release. And it also comes in a nice yellow case. And that's First Love. It says on the back here, it's the best true romance riff you'll ever see. So if it's like true romance, I'm well in here. So yeah, looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, over the top action stuff. So yeah, this was like about 4 or 5 quid in a nice yellow case. So yeah, very happy to have that in the collection. And that's First Love. I did watch this one over the weekend. Michael Caine in The Black Windmill. Really good political spy sort of early sort of Taken-like film. It's actually come out way before Death Wish. It came out a few years before Death Wish, I think, and it feels very similar to it, but with like a political sort of spy background. Basically, Michael Caine's like a spy. His kid gets kidnapped, and then he has to go and find him. But there's like hordes of incriminating evidence to point that maybe he's the one who actually kidnapped his own kid. Did he? Don't know. You'll have to find out. But it's a very good film. I really enjoyed it. It's actually really quite brutal, to be fair. Whilst it doesn't actually show you a lot of the nasty stuff that happens, it does imply it, and it can be quite uncomfortable at watch. But yeah, really enjoyed this. This is normally $12.99 in HMV, but currently it's only $2.99, and for that price you really can't say no. So yeah, that's The Black Windmill. Another one that was $12.99, now $2.99, is Sylvester Stallone and Henry Winkler in The Lords of Flatbush. This film is going to be like a coming of age sort of film, following this gang as they try to enter adulthood. It looks like it's going to be an interesting watch. Should be quite funny, I suppose, and heartwarming at times. Don't really know much about it, but for $2.99 and with Sylvester Stallone in, it's hard to say no. So yeah, that's The Lords of Flatbush. Next up is a film starring Timothy Hutton and Sean Penn, and that's The Falcon and the Snowman. Don't really know much about it. I'm going to gather it's a sort of political, sort of spy thriller, but won me for the cast alone. Normally it's $8.99, but it was only $3.99, so I thought, you know what, give it a go. It seems to be like H&V are getting rid of all the 101 releases and selling them for absolutely silly prices. So for like $3.99, I thought, give it a go. Next up is a film I definitely remember seeing, or it might have been the TV series, as some people have told me, but it's James Caan and Terrence Stamp in Alienation. I remember this being on the Horror Channel. Apparently there is a TV series, so it's probably highly likely I saw the TV series, but I can remember watching bits and pieces of something called Alienation, and it's a similar sort of thing. But yeah, it's like a detective thing where like they partner up with aliens and solve crimes. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun for $2.99 with a poster and a DVD as well. So it's a double disc set with a poster. Really can't grumble at $2.99. Next up is a film starring Stellan Skarsgård, and that is In Order of Disappearance. Basically, this just follows this like mild-mannered dude as his son dies of like a drug overdose, and he refuses to believe it's an accident and goes after the drug dealers. It looks like it's going to be a mix of Fargo and Death Wish, so it should be good. But fun fact, this is actually was remade a few years ago, starring Liam Neeson, called Cold Pursuit. And I actually really did enjoy Cold Pursuit. It's one of the Liam Neeson films I actually quite enjoyed. So I'm looking forward to seeing this original version, which I've heard is really good. So that's In Order of Disappearance. It's a film starring Taika Waititi. It's a film I've always wanted to watch. It's got the TV series going playing on iPlayer all the time, but I've never seen the original, and that's What We Do in the Shadows. I've heard nothing but brilliant things about this. I've heard it's an absolutely hilarious film, so I'm very looking forward to watching it. Normally $5.99, well, normally $7.99, but took it to the till and it was only $2.99, so very happy with that. So that's What We Do in the Shadows. The Arrow sale is now in full swing, and the prices have certainly changed. They've gone from like $7.99 to $8.99. And whilst the jump in price to a pound has annoyed some, and it kind of has annoyed me a little bit, they're still a great price, as considering a lot of these are normally $17.99. But it still hasn't stopped me from participating in the sale. So we have a load of Arrow titles here. I don't know whether I've showed you a couple of these last month or I haven't, but there's quite a few here, so I'll show you them anyway. First up is Harpoon. I won this in an auction for like £5. Basically, three friends go on a boat and all their secrets and lies get all talked about. Who lives, who dies, you'll have to find out. But I'm pretty certain I have showed you this in a previous video. This is a film that I always want to watch. It's got Telly Savalas in it. Apparently it's out of print, and that's Lisa and the Devil. This did get released a few years ago in like a big deluxe window box edition, but I never picked it up. Found this in H&V Boston. Really surprised to find it there. So very happy to have that in the collection. Been after that for a long while. Did order it, but it did get cancelled because they ran out of stock on H&V online. It's a hard title to find. I can't seem to find it anywhere for a decent price. It says $14.99, but it was actually $8.99, and you do get two cuts of the film. You get the original Italian cut, and you also do get the House of Exorcism, the American cut. So that's Lisa and the Devil. Next up is a very new release on the Arrow label. It's Robert De Niro and Kenneth Branagh in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Watched this a few weeks ago, really enjoyed it. Thought it was a great take on the Mary Shelley's Frankenstein story. You do get a booklet in it as well, so that's good. It's very theatrical, very Shakespearean, but isn't to be surprised considering it's Kenneth Branagh's production. But yeah, I enjoyed it. So that's Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. These ones went on the sale just literally before the sale started for £10, and I thought, you know what, pick them up. We've got Toby Hooper's Life Force for $9.99. You do get like 2 discs here, and you do get the booklet, so I thought I'd pick it up straight away. So yeah, you do get loads of special features. Basically, they find like an alien orbiting Earth or something, and they pick up the alien, and then it sucks the living life force out of them, and then it invades Earth. Sounds like an interesting watch. I've heard from a lot of people this is really good and a lot of fun, so yeah, that's Life Force. Next up is a film starring Grace Jones, and that is Vamp. Again, you do get the booklet in this one as well. That's the main reason why I picked it up. Basically, this sees like 2 kids entering like a strip club essentially, and all the women in there are vampires. So yeah, Very 80s, probably full of cheese, but a lot of fun, I've heard. So yeah, that's Vamp. Picked this one up real cheap. It was like only a fiver online, and that is called Catfight. It stars Sandra Oh from Killing Eve. I think she was in Grey's Anatomy as well. Basically, it's about these two women who used to go to college each other. One of them's really high flying, the other one's just working as a struggling artist. They meet up with each other and then have a massive fight, and then stuff happens. It's a very odd film, shall I say, but I enjoyed it. It's very surreal. You do get a booklet in it as well. But yeah, for like a fiver, I thought it was well worth it. I did enjoy it. It's probably not a film I'd go back to, but it's a pretty good time. So yeah, these are definitely all the Arrow Sale stuff now coming up. First up, we have a newly released film called The Starless. Don't really know much about it. I think it's basically about a woman who cuts hair, and she's getting kind of obsessed with like cutting people's hair off and wearing it for herself. So yeah, that sounds a bit odd. Looks to be like a female version of Sweeney Todd. You do get a Blu-ray here. You get your CD soundtrack as well, which I thought was really cool. A booklet and a poster. And obviously this lovely slipcover for $8.99. So I thought, why not? So yeah, that's The Starless. Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro star in Terry Gilliam's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Never seen it, always wanted to. Big fan of Johnny Depp. I've heard this is quite a surreal watch, so I'm bracing myself to expect the unexpected. So yeah, that's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Vincent Price and Diana Riggs star in Theatre of Blood. Basically, this actor or whatever. Basically, Vincent Price plays like an actor, gives one of his best performances, and it gets panned by the critics. So what do? You silence them, you kill them, and that's what Vincent Price does. It looks like it's like a dark sort of comedy horror. So yeah, heard a lot of positive things about this. So looking forward to watching Theatre of Blood. Next up is a fairly recent film that I've heard some really good positive buzz about, and that is Dinner in America. It's a fairly recent film that's not long come out on the Arrow label, so I'm very happy to have that on the collection. For $8.99 you do get your booklet as well. Basically, it's about this dude here. He's a bit of a rebel, gets in trouble with the police, and I think he finds this girl, and basically they go around basically causing trouble. I've heard it's good, got a great soundtrack, so excited to give it a watch. Some more I picked up. I have The Cold Light of Day. Don't really know much about it. I think from what I gather, it's a sort of like a murder mystery thing. It's based on the true events that happened in London probably in the 80s, I think. But yeah, they find a body under like floorboards, hence why this slip is like it. It's actually got a cutout on the slip to show bodies underneath, which I thought was pretty cool. I've heard from some people it's a bit of a mixed watch, but I thought I'd give it a go. It's limited edition to 2,000 units, so yeah, that's The Cold Light of Day. Another one that I don't really know much about, I think this is like a fairly modern film, and that's called ICU. It's basically basically this follows about like a police detective who's currently investigating like a child abduction case, and there's stuff going on at home with his wife, and then something happens to his child. I think his child gets kidnapped or gets kind of possessed, but I've heard some pretty positive buzz about ICU, so yeah, for $8.99 I thought I'd give it a go. This one is really out of print. I have never seen this one with a slipcover or anything, so I thought pick it up straight away for $8.99, and that's The Prey. This one was apparently filmed in like the late 70s or early 80s, but it didn't get released till like the mid 80s. This is like got two cuts of the film. You get the US theatrical cut, you get the international cut. Oh, and you do get the fan cut as well. So you get three cuts of the film. This is limited edition for 3,000 units, and you do get like loads and loads of special features. And obviously you get your book as well. So yeah, that is The Prey. Next up is a John Hughes film. I actually did pick this up a couple of months ago. Really cheap for like $2.99, but I heard that the transfer on that isn't very good. So I thought, you know what, if it comes up in the sale with a slip, I'll pick it up, and it did. And that's 16 Candles. Don't really know much about it, but from what I gather, it's about Molly Ringwald. Her character's 16 and she wants to get with this guy of her dreams, but unfortunately she's getting attention from another guy who she doesn't really like. Does she get the guy? What happens? Probably she does, but it's 16 Candles. And yeah, really looking forward to watching that one. I haven't really seen many John Hughes films. I've only seen like Ferris Bueller, but I did enjoy that. But I did get this one and did watch this at the weekend, and I had an absolute blast with it. And that is Weird Science. Yeah, I even changed the front cover if I can get it out. So yeah, so there you go. That is Weird Science. Basically about it's basically just Nanny McPhee but with randy teenagers instead. These two teenagers create their ideal perfect woman who turns out to be Kelly LeBrock. But instead of being like a fantasy, she's actually a god. Well, it's like a fairy godmother essentially, just teaching them the rights and wrongs of relationships and how to treat a woman right. It's really good, quite funny. Soundtrack's amazing, and it just goes into many different weird ways that I never thought it would. I just had an utter blast with Weird Science. So yeah, one of the best Arrow releases. I definitely think so. So yeah, really happy to get it with a slipcover as well. Next up is Dwayne Johnson, Sean William Scott, and Sarah Michelle Gellar in Southland Tales. This is directed by the dude who done Donnie Darko. I've heard this one's very mixed quality. It seems to be a bit out there. I did watch the trailer and it certainly looks out there. You get 2 cuts of the film. You get the normal edition and the extended director's cut. Booklet as well. Just over 2.5 hours, so it's quite a long watch, but I'm intrigued to give it a go. So yeah, that's Southland Tales. Another one I picked up, I've been wanting this one for a little while. This one's a fairly recent one. I'm pretty certain I've seen it a few years ago, and that is A Tale of Two Sisters. I'm pretty certain I saw it a few years ago and thought it was a really interesting watch. Basically, something happens with like the stepmother. There's something to do with the stepmother. Something happens with the stepmother. I can remember something about that, but it's like a mix of like horror and supernatural, and it's like got like a really good story to it. So yeah, that is A Tale of Two Sisters. The final 2 pickups are Arrow's special editions. Been wanting to get this one for a little while, so when it popped up in the sale, I thought, you know what, pick it up, and that's Major Dundee. Yeah, Major Dundee is like a 60s west, not 60s west. Well, it's a 60s western sort of a it's like a 60s western sort of military sort of drama. Starring Charlton Heston and Richard Harris. Watched this over the weekend, really enjoyed it. You get 2 cuts of the film. They all come in like media books, and you do get your booklet as well as a poster. So yeah, there is an unboxing on the channel, so I'll pop that in the link to the description, or you'll see it in like one of the little cards at the end of the video. So that's Major Dundee. And the final pickup of the month is another Arrow Collector's Edition, one that's been out for a little while, but I've been wanting to get it for a while, and it's been going for silly prices. But I found it online for like 20 odd quid, and I asked for 15. They said 17, so I said yes. And I had a £2.50 voucher, so it only cost me 15 quid in the end. So that's American Werewolf in London. I do have the Universal release, but I've heard the Universal release isn't very good, so very happy to get this for like 15 quid. I think it is out of print now. You do get your Blu-ray and your booklet and your poster, and you do get your art cards. I know it recently came out on 4K, and I think the set is very similar, just you've got a 4K disc. So yeah, that is American Werewolf in London, one of my favourite horror films of all time, and look at all the special features. So yeah, very happy to have that in the collection. I really do like these Arrow box sets. They really do feel very well made. So again, 15 quid, well worth it considering when this came out, this was probably about 25 to 30 quid. So yeah, that's American Werewolf in London. So anyway, that'll do it for this video, and wow, what a haul. There's certainly a lot of titles here to get through, and a lot of them probably won't be watched for a very long time, but only a lot to watch, and it's going to take a very long time indeed to watch it all. But yeah, now I've got to find a place to find them all, which is going to probably take me all till next month. But anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell me what you think of my April Blu-ray haul. I was about to say May, but tell me what you think of my April Blu-ray haul in the comments section down below. Tell me what films you'd recommend me watch first. As always, thank you ever so much for watching my video. If you like the video and subscribe, that'd be totally awesome. And as always, till next time, bye.